Maryville hockey starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Maryville Saints Hockey Network. I'm Todd Panula, and today it's the Saints against the Bulldogs in game number 2, a matinee affair between these two top teams as the Saints look to improve their record to 2-0 early in the season. The Saints got off to a great start yesterday. They got a goal in the first period, a Haley Beckett power play goal off a nice deflection from an Emma Gerwitz shot that came just about midway through that first period. And despite the back-and-forth nature of yesterday's game, that goal would end up being the difference and, in fact, the only goal of the contest, as it would finish a 1-0 scoreline for your Maryville Saints. So they got things off to a great start on the season, 1-0, one goal in the back of the net, getting a shutout, and that's about as good as you could ask for. We talked to Coach Lang after the game, and he was a little bit less than impressed with his team's overall performance. He took into account the fact that it was everybody's first game of the season. They were still kind of trying to get those legs underneath them, that team cohesion, the first time out there on the ice in terms of actual gameplay, not playing against one another. Now, they did have an exhibition game against a AAA team a week or so ago. But again, that's you're only able to get a couple minutes of ice time overall because he basically played everybody in the program. So it was still kind of a feeling out process, if you will, for the Maryville Saints. But overall, they got the job done against a team that will ultimately be top 10, maybe even top 5 in the Adrian Bulldogs. So it's a good way to start the season for the Saints overall. It was a back-and-forth contest. As I mentioned yesterday, the shots ended up 30-28 in favor of the Bulldogs. So it wasn't as though Adrian didn't have their chances. In fact, the Bulldogs had a lot of chances that came in flurries. They would get out there and just kind of get the puck into the zone. Didn't have as much offensive zone time, perhaps, as the Saints did. But when they got it in there, they would just get it towards goal and take a few whacks at it. They would get 4 and 5 shots at a time. So Hannah Tresick was under siege for flurries of activity, but she was up to the task and managed to keep her team in the game for as long as she could. Adrian pulled the goaltender with about 2 minutes or so left, and they couldn't capitalize on that. Now, you could turn the tables and say the Saints weren't able to capitalize on the empty net either, but ultimately both teams kind of did some good things. There's things to build on for both of these teams, but we're very early in the season. This is only game number 2 coming up here this afternoon. So we'll see whether or not these teams are refreshed or whether or not they're a little bit sluggish here with an afternoon start after a little bit of a later start yesterday in the evening. That'll wrap it up for our pregame coverage. We'll talk about your starters and your starting goaltenders right before puck drop. Keep it right here for the Bulldogs against the Saints on the Maryville Saints Hockey Network.
There comes a time where it's going to get harder and more difficult, but to never lose that focus of enjoying the game is so important. Leon Draisaitl from Cologne, Germany, Edmonton Oilers. For me, it started early. My dad played, so it ran in the family a little bit, and always wanted to play in the NHL. I'm an offensive guy that likes to generate and create chances and take big pride in the defensive side of things as well. I've got nothing but great things to say about Warrior, and a huge fan of the consistency year after year for me personally, bring out the best product, and it's so simple and easy to work with Warrior. And on top of that, the service is incredible. Always things to learn, always things to grow, always the parts of the game to get better at, but all in all, you have to be a Warrior.
And welcome back to the Maryville University Hockey Center. Todd Panula flying solo here this afternoon for the Saints against the Bulldogs. Your starting goaltenders, both teams rolling back with the same netminders that we saw in last night's contest. It's Riley Jesse Gorelli for the Bulldogs and Hannah Tresick for the Maryville Saints. The Saints starting five on the forward line. It's going to be Alicia Ross, Brooklyn Gillings, and Sophie Brennan. Guarding the blue line, it'll be Haley Putnam and Grace Karunakar. Saints start the season 1-0 after going 26-14 last year. Bulldogs obviously 0-1 after picking up 31 wins, 6 losses, and 3 overtime decisions in their 2024-25 campaign. Bulldogs will be in the yellow jerseys, countered by the white for Maryville. Maryville heading left to right on your screen. Here come the Bulldogs. The captain gets it over to Gregory. She shoots and just misses on the glove hand side. Cut it back across the grain. Had Tresick beat, but the puck sailed wide of the post. Potential icing waves off. Chased down in the backside by Nickel. She sends it over to the right wing. Right to Putnam. She tried to play it off the Dashers. No such room. Gillings comes over to help, but it's still popped back out towards center. Karunakar just flops one into the near side corners. It trickles in behind the net. Gillings comes in on the forecheck. Nicely waiting is Ward. Slides it up the far boards. It's popped back towards the blue line. Gregory backhands it into the Saints zone as they send it over to the near wing, out of the reach of O'Leary. Nickel is back, off the window, slapped up by the Kuzminski. It ends up in behind the Adrian goal. Intercepted by Windross, but she's tied up along the end wall. Scraping it off the boards is Rats. Pops it over the blue line, and now it's 1-on-1. 2-on-1. The Bulldogs come in, tie a tough angle shot, and Tresick turns it aside. Haggart was ready for a rebound that never came. Windross ties up her opponent. Haggart comes out of there. Back to the blue line, struggling to find the handle with Scoville. Just dumps it down low. Bulldogs pop it back out in front, but it's off a skate. Rats has to be careful, otherwise O'Leary could have gone off to the races. A scrum for it along the near side half wall, just about 2 minutes into the first period. O'Leary tying up Rats, pinning her up against the wall. Kuzminski comes away with it. Far side it goes. Slap shot coming. And that's wide to the glove hand side from Morris. Check that. It's Sachel. D to D. The Saints come out. And it's tapped through the middle into the zone by O'Leary. She'll peel off for a line change. 17:30 to go here in the first period. Saints retreating back towards their own blue line. Beckett comes up through the middle. Villard comes in on the near wing, looking towards the middle. Sutton is there. The pass came through, but just a bit off target, too close to goal. Sutton comes back to center ice, looking for Villard as they tried to go D to forward line. Morris in behind her own goal, pops it past Sutton. Bulldogs get it out to center, but the Saints are right there to meet them. Maryville deep inside their own zone. Slick stick handling skills of Amelia Smolinski as she comes all the way into the offensive end on her off wing. Backhands it into the crease, and Jesse Gorelli will cover it up. 16:46 left to go here in the first period. The game overall has gone end to end, but we've only got one shot to show for it. Bulldogs have probably had the better of the looks, although they've sent most of their shots wide. No official shots on goal thus far for Adrian, just the one from Maryville. Bulldogs tap it around Bjornsson, who tried to pinch in from the point. Robinson flings it through the middle. Nobody home on the backside. Braun comes up looking for Karunakar. She took a two-handed chop at that one. Tresick thought about keeping that alive after it had popped into her crease, but we'll have a face-off inside the Maryville zone this time around. Saints going to change up their defensive pairing. Bulldogs keep their complement of players out there. A bouncer in towards goal. Tresick gloved it away. Looking up through the middle. Bjornsson dropped it for Struther. It ends up over in the far side corner and then bounces over the stick of Falardeau. Struther backhands it in and then blows a tire trying to get off to the bench. Intercepted through the middle. Ross pops it right back in. A momentary delayed offside was negated as Gillings touched up. She came hard in on the forecheck. Trying to get out on the far side. Young taps it through the middle. Now with speed, Kuzminski comes in. Easy for me to say. Lost in behind the net. They try to swipe at it. It's loose in the crease, and Tresick spotted it just in time. She'll cover it up with 15:26 to go here in the first. Bulldogs starting to build some continuity here in the first period. They've got 2 shots on goal. And as I mentioned, they've already had some good looks and just put those wide, so the Saints trying to find their legs here. Gillings comes in. Ross is on the near wing. Gillings is going to take the shot. It's off the blocker, and it was momentarily bouncing around in the goaltender's paraphernalia, but she was able to hold on long enough for the whistle. So both teams creating some chances here. Not quite 5 minutes into the first period. A fresh 5 out there for Maryville. Adrian comes out with the face-off win, but then they lose it behind the net. It's out in front. Toole shot saved. Rebound. They're kicking at it. And the Bulldogs slide away from danger. Saints forecheck momentarily had it. Bulldogs come out with it. Stitt gets around Hansen and then gives her a little bit of a slash after the puck was gone. Morris with a long shot. That ends up wide. Ricochets around here to the near wall. Saints can't get it out. Wiltshire puts it back through the middle, intending it for Reyes. Smolinski backhands it up the far side. Bulldogs reverse over towards the near wing, and they filter it through the stick. Good poke check, though, from Mika Hansen. And then the Bulldogs had never touched up, so that'll be offside against Adrian. $14:29 to go, first period, scoreless thus far. Vindros won the face-off, and then it was punched up into the attacking zone, but not under control. Odd man break coming up here for the Bulldogs. They couldn't catch up to it to make that dangerous. Turnbull dropped it over to Scoville, who gave it away. Toole was bumped off the puck. It goes in below the Maryville goal line. Robinson walled off Putnam. Turnbull comes away with it. Karunakar took away that lane. Scoville just outside the slot. Ooh, that didn't miss by much. Off the end wall. They pop it back out in front. Tresick is tough against her post. From the outside hash marks, we get Morris with a shot, and we're going to get our first penalty of the game. And that was the penalty du jour last night. Interference will be the call. So even though they were in the offensive end, the call goes against the Bulldogs. Saints were 1 for 4 with the power play yesterday. We'll see if they can get one in the first period again here today. Filtered through to Gerwitz. Sutton. Villard. She wants to set up Gerwitz straight away. Tap pass to Beckett and then back. Beckett again, this time on the dot. Shot was blocked. Bulldogs trying to get it up the wall. Unsuccessful. Sutton carries in behind. She'll cycle all the way around. Beckett intercepted that pass. I believe it was going towards Gerwitz. Beckett takes a shot, and it's off a toe. Villard, tied up by Ward, still manages to slip loose. Villard from Sutton, quickly to Gerwitz. Wrister, right into the goaltender. 1:21 left in the power play. Saints doing a good job of working it around, trying to create some lanes. Off the draw, it's smacked over here towards the near boards. Beckett taps it back low to the end line. Smolinski couldn't handle it. Gerwitz again from straight away. It bounced over the stick of Morris. Smolinski's on it. Gallops over to the half wall on the far side. An errant pass still held in by the Saints. Slap shot misses on the glove side from Beckett. Pop down low, looking for Villard. She was tied up along the boards. Bulldogs struggling to find the handle. Scoville is roughed up. Smolinski again using that long reach in tight quarters. Maryville's got a player down. That looks like Villard. Bulldogs able to wrestle it loose. Good hold in though. Gerwitz keeps it alive. Villard from the half wall. Wants the slapper. Going to take it. Hoping that Smolinski could get a deflection. But ultimately, Jesse Gorelli was well positioned. 27 seconds left on the Maryville power play, and they will put out a different unit. Face-off was tapped wide of the goal and ultimately escapes on the far side. Now a potential shorthand chance. That's going to be sealed off by Karunakar. She's able to get around Turnbull with speed. Comes all the way in towards goal, and then the shot just kind of slid off the heel of the stick. 1 second left, and now we're back to 5-on-5. Power play 0 for 1. Ross comes out with it, taps it off the wall. Brennan slides it over to Putnam. Just twists it around the wall, looking for Ross. Instead, the Bulldogs intercept, and they will blast it down the ice. No icing. Lob pass, just bounced underneath the stick of Brennan, so that will be an icing going the other way. 11:13 to go here in the first. Entertaining period thus far. Both teams have created a lot of chances. Only officially 8 shots on goal, but you could probably put twice that many in terms of the shots taken. Just a lot of them have been going just wide. Putnam plays a hopeful pass over to the far side. Gillings found it, but ran out of real estate as she was closed down by the forecheck. Ross lets it slide by as she was tangled up with Scoville. Haggart was disrupted by the forecheck, and then it's off the skates of Gillings on the centering pass. Bulldogs come out towards center. 1-on-2. Second attempt on the poke from Gerwitz was successful. Gerwitz comes around towards the near side. Oh, that takes a weird hop off the edge of the boards. Bulldogs find it. They'll take a shot, and that slides through the top of the crease. Somebody lost a stick. That's Fallardo. O'Leary trying to bring it back into the offensive end. It's still stuck right along the red line. Ward chases it down for the Bulldogs. She's down low and then stapled to the end wall. Bulldogs slide it up into the neutral zone, and the Saints take possession. Halfway through the first period, and it's scoreless. Bulldogs go up the right wing. Saints hold the zone. In towards goal. Jesse Gorelli will hold on. .9:47 to go here in the first. Bit of an odd schedule to start the year for the Maryville Saints. They get 2 games here at home against Adrian, and they are off for a week before traveling to play Minot State on the road. Only 16 seconds come off the clock, 9:31 left in the first. It's been an interesting period as we get an odd man rush here, 2-on-1. Bulldogs come in on the circle. Blocker save made by Tressick as it goes out of play. Trying to go for that upper corner, and the Maryville Saints goaltender shrugs it away. Putnam bangs it off the wall, but the Bulldogs hold it. Oh, and the Saints could have had a 2-on-1 of their own if that had gone their way on the bounce. But here comes Putnam. Beckett is in the middle looking for her, and a good disruption on the pass. Sutton holds on to it. Now we get a whistle. It'll be a hand pass. Face-off will come out into the neutral zone. But that once again brings up the point that I was making. First 2 or 3 minutes had some good flow to it, back and forth for both teams. But ever since then, we've had a lot of stoppages. Here comes Sutton, trying to get it back onto the forehand, puts it off the far pad. Looking for that shot pass. But it was nicely played by the goaltender. Sutton hits the brakes. Trying to keep it alive. A lot of defensive sticks right there. Saints pop it down low below the goal line. Millard swipes at it. Comes over to Kuzminski. They do not play for the same team, though. Karunakar swipes it over. Putnam wants to take a shot, and that one's caught against the body of the goaltender, Jesse Gorelli. Those are always nervous moments for any goaltender whenever you get a blocker save, but you know that it's underneath you, because that could easily sneak through when it's basically on the wrist. Brennan missed on the pass, kept it alive for the moment. Falardeau goes cross corner to the near side. Bulldogs take it off the wall and send it out through the neutral zone. Saints trying to return to the offensive end. Brennan right in front of the Adrian bench. Backhands it in. Chased down by Sachel. She had her back to goal, so she had to just kind of fling it over towards the near side. Intercepted. Ross chases it down. Guarded closely by Nickel. Bulldogs can't clear it out again. Saints unable to get any shots, though. A rolling puck right on edge. Up the near side, Gerwitz comes to Ross. Looks down at the puck. Lost at center. Gerwitz takes it back. 3 defenders on her, so she comes towards the near wing, shoots across the green. Jesse Gorelli struggled to find the handle, but managed to keep it out. 7:05 to go in the period. Gerwitz didn't know the pressure was coming from behind, then takes a swipe at Tyler Turnbull. Bit of a dueling match there between the two captains. O'Leary is bumped off the puck. A couple fans were looking for a penalty, none to be had. Gregory from the near circle misses wide and behind the net on the shot. Pass from the far side comes to the near boards. Nobody in yellow to handle that. O'Leary on the counter. She'll come in on the near side wing. Guarded nicely by Nickel. Ward back to Nickel. Backhanded to Kuzminski. Ward in behind her own goal. 6:15 to go. High off the far side window. Bounces past Hansen. Smolinski's trying to chase it down. Hansen pops it up the near side. Just out of the reach of Harris. Bulldogs send it back down. That one missed the glove of Hansen, but it actually favors the Saints, as that will count as an icing. 5:57 to go here in the opening period. Scoreless thus far. Tapped up the wall. Here comes Villard. Karunikar wrist her towards the blocker side. It took a deflection on the way through. Well played by Jesse Gorelli to kick it out. Villard stick handles around the pressure from the near circle. Takes a shot and another save for the Adrian goaltender. Saints starting to apply the pressure here. They've been more consistent in the last few minutes. Shots are now 11-4 in favor of the home team. Karunikar gets it off the draw. Slapper got all the way through. She scores! Mackenzie Villard with the deflection on the way through, and the Saints up 1-0 on a very similar goal to what they scored yesterday. So Grace Karunikar with the shot from the right side. Villard got a deflection on it. Just went underneath the glove hand side. And the Saints are up 1-0. The goal comes on the 12th shot of the game for the Saints. Icing here against the Bulldogs. 5 minutes left in the first. Bulldogs steal the puck off the draw. They come through the neutral zone with speed and purpose. Wiltshire ran into that defensive wall that was set up by Maryville. Shuffleboarded over towards the far side and then kicked out of the zone initially by Windross. Bulldogs got it in deep. O'Leary fields the pass with soft hands, but then had to flop it into the far corner with the defense closing her down. Turnbull comes up the near side. Turnbull in behind. Slides the backhand pass to the point. Sachel was looking back for Turnbull. Smolinski was wise to that play. Windross chops at it. Saints trying to settle it down. Smolinski hands it off, but it was too close to the skates of O'Leary. She recovers. Hansen gloved it down at center ice. Comes across the blue line on the attack. Tries to get one down low to Joanna Braun. She ties things up, allowing Struther to come over. Bjornsson trying to get ready in front of the net. Struther to Smolinski. She walks the line but blows a tire. Struther pops it right back in. Bjornsson couldn't play it because she was offside. And now offside will be the call. Bjornsson looked like she had touched up, so I guess they're going to say that Braun was still across the line. Regardless of who it was on, Maryville called for the offside. 3:30 left to go here in the first as the clock continues to tick down. Fluttering puck out to center ice. Karunikar plays it off the near side glass. Rolls around off the end line. In behind the net. Braun trying to chase it down. Roughing up Kuzminski. Puck pops out of the scrum. Morris from the far corner, off the wall. Young couldn't get it out on the initial try. Bulldogs find a little bit of space. Scoville plays it off the near boards, tracks it down in behind the attacking goal. Scoville looking for Morris. It slides out. Bulldogs have to be careful, otherwise the Saints would have had a potential 2-0. Beckett on the back check, robs it from Scoville. Beckett on her off wing, avoids the poke check. Second opportunity, Bulldogs pilfered that away. Adrian changing, needed to be careful of too many players on the ice. Falardeau just pushes it over here towards the near side. Almost 18 minutes gone here in the period. Beckett again, charging up her off wing. Sutton coming up through the middle. Beckett gonna go all the way towards goal. Slams on the brakes. Flings a pass out in front. Gerwitz tried to push it towards goal. That was blocked. Gillings able to steal it away. Saints with good consistent pressure here. Nobody's had a shot on goal since the Saints scored at 14:38. Gerwitz gonna take one. Glove save. That one appeared to be going wide, but they are gonna be putting the shot on goal. Maryville changes it up. Ross, Brennan, Gillings, Hansen, and Smolinski. Scoville slides it up the far side wall. Young able to get it out towards center, but again, the Saints just smothering defensively right now. 1:15 to go in the opening period. Bulldogs get it around Hansen. Smolinski is back. Up the near side wall. Gregory got a piece of it. Hansen takes it right away, crossing the center logo. Now from the high slot to the near circle. Plays it back across, but it hit a shin pad on the way through. Bulldogs in transition. Robinson forgot about the puck. That's rather important. Windross lost it to Turnbull. Gillings comes across. Scoville digs in along with Windross. 30 seconds left. Bulldogs getting some fresh players. Adrian swipes it into the attacking zone, but the Saints quickly transition. They gain the red line and fling it around. 15 seconds left. Ward pops it up the wall. Got it around Windross. The back check from Toole was able to keep that one out of danger. 2 seconds left. Saints will just see this one out. 20 minutes are in the books. 40 minutes left in regulation. The Saints, very similarly to what they were yesterday, are up 1-0 after one. The goal came almost exactly the same way. This time it was Villard on the tip. But as long as they hit the back of the net, they all count the same. We'll take a break. When we come back, we will have your second period of action. Keep it right here on the Maryville Saints Hockey Network.
There comes a time where it's going to get harder and more difficult, but to never lose that focus of enjoying the game is so important. Leon Draisaitl from Cologne, Germany, Edmonton Oilers. For me, it started early. My dad played, so it ran in the family a little bit, and always wanted to play in the NHL. I'm an offensive guy that likes to generate and create chances and take big pride in the defensive side of things as well. I've got nothing but great things to say about Warrior, and a huge fan of the consistency year after year. For me personally, bring out the best product, and it's so simple and easy to work with Warrior. And on top of that, the service is incredible. Always things to learn, always things to grow, always the parts of the game to get better at, but all in all, you have to be a Warrior.
able to disrupt Nickel, who has to put it in behind her own net. Ward looks near side for Wiltshire. Stepping into her was Brennan. Ward comes back with it. Up the near side wall. Wiltshire had her stick lifted. Brennan keeping it alive for the Saints. Ross ties up Ward. Reyes comes over to help. Gilling strips it away. Nickel looking for options. Putnam slows it down. Probably would not have gone far enough for icing either way. So not a bad decision. Putnam steps up, knocks it out of the air after she stepped into Stitt. Under 6 to go here in the second. Filtered through into the attack. Gillings fanned on the pass. Put it towards the crease. Jesse Gorelli will cover it up. 5:45 to go here in the second period. 1-0 is the score here in game number 2 of the season and this weekend series, obviously. Maryville won 1-0 yesterday. You got to think with so much time left on the clock, both of the teams hoping that that doesn't need to be the final score in this one. Smolinski got that one towards goal despite the fact she was tripped up. There's a Bulldogs player down, but the Saints are going to go to the power play. Smolinski's going to draw the penalty. It's Morris who is a little bit shaken up after that collision. I think when Smolinski went down, she kind of went awkwardly into Morris, who then hit the ice. She'll be seen to by the trainer and slams her mask over against the wall, so she's not happy at all. Nevertheless, it's Sophie Kuzminski in the box for the Bulldogs. Saints are 0 for 2 with the power play here today after going 1 for 4 yesterday. Sutton dusts it off, looks for Villard in the corner. Centering feed and too many defensive sticks to get that through. 1:42 left in the Saints power play. Maryville out shooting their opponent 21-7. Just the one goal to show for it, though. Beckett backhands it into the corner. Villard, the goal scorer. Back to Sutton at the point. Gerwitz quickly to Beckett. Beckett takes a shot. She scores! Power play goal for Haley Beckett. It is 2-0. You see the Saints working it around. Beckett stepped up into the right circle, just inside the line. Hit it off the post and in. Goal number 2 for both Beckett and the Saints. Beckett on the season, the Saints on the game. And Wiltshire pops it into the near side corner. Beckett at 14:58 on the power play. Hurwitz kicks it up to Ross. Brendan couldn't get it out initially. Now slides one through. Here's Gillings. 1-on-1 with the defender. Now it's 2-on-3 in favor of the Bulldogs as they were able to disrupt that pass. Hurwitz flings it over to the far wall. Toole taps it into the attacking zone, and then the Saints come in on the forecheck. Dangerously close to too many players. Here's Fallardo with the slap shot. That got all the way through. The puck is loose at the edge of the crease. Jessie Gorelli looks like she's holding her head. I never heard the whistle, but it had to have been blown because everybody had kind of stopped play. I think Jessie Gorelli was checking out her straps on the mask and also having a word with the official. Face-off will come to the near circle. Saints win it. Car to Putnam. Pushed down around behind the net. Toole trying to leave it for Windross. A floater over towards the far side. Again, the Saints looking for the deflections in front. That was kind of the main complaint, I feel, from the coaches yesterday, was something that Andrew Marsh had brought up during yesterday's broadcast as well, was that the Saints were getting shots through, but there wasn't enough traffic, which is kind of interesting because we've seen 2 of the 3 goals for Maryville this season come off of deflected pucks. So if they can get those bodies in front of the net with more consistency, you have to wonder if the offense is really going to start exploding. They've already got 2 goals here today, 3 on the season. And we get a whistle. And I believe the Saints are going to go back to the power play. Tripping is going to be the call. Taylor Robinson into the box. 3:06 left in the period. 2 minutes up on the scoreboard for the Maryville power play. They are 1 for 3 thus far today. Top power play line is out there. Sutton drew the face-off over towards the near side. Bulldogs momentarily had it. Gerwitz walks the line, and then Wiltshire kicked it out. Now Wiltshire's got a potential breakaway, but the puck just kept sliding on to the far side corner. No harm, no foul thus far. Saints trying to dig it off the end wall. Gerwitz with 2 Bulldogs around. Reverses in behind her own net. Beckett, the latest goal scorer, goes cross ice for Sutton. She comes in 3-on-2. Ward picked her pocket and then clears it past Villard. Gerwitz looking for Villard. Couldn't find any space, tried to toe drag it. When you're in their defensive corner, that's not necessarily a typical move. Here's Beckett from the right wing. Flop pass looking for Sutton, but hit a body. 44 seconds left in the power play. Villard goes off the wall. Karunikar walks the line. Feeds to Sutton. Cross ice pass was intercepted. Beckett from the slot takes a shot looking for deflection on the way through. Jesse Gorelli had stopped it, and Spolinski could not find the rebound. 28 seconds left in the Robinson penalty, 1:33 left in the period. Punched over here towards the near side. 20 seconds left in the power play. Jellings from the outside hash marks. Karunikar at the point. Jellings on the circle. She's going to take the shot. That one is lost. It's in somebody. Oh, my goodness. It's up in the neck area of Ava Sachel. She's able to dig it out of there. Puck off the face-off, rolls over towards the near side. 1 second left, and now we're back to 5-on-5. So, as they were yesterday, the Saints are now 1 for 4 on the power play. We'll see if there's any more coming in the third period. Under a minute to go here in the second, though. Bulldogs desperately looking for some space that is just hard to come by right now. Jillings comes up through the middle. She's got Brennan on the near side and finds her on the pass. Return feed was not there. Bulldogs coming back the other way. They've got Reyes cherry picking. She's fresh off the bench. Now it's a 3-on-0. Reyes comes in from the circle. They go to the back door. Tresick slams the door shut. She denies Scoville on a 3-on-0. Stitt comes back in on the attack. She finds a lane, and that dries up with the block from Karunakar. 10.4 seconds left in the period. What a turn of events. This game should probably be 2-1, and instead it's 2-0 thanks to Hannah Tresick making a big save on what materialized as a 3-on-0. Saints flip it on to center ice. Nickel couldn't find the handle. Beckett comes in, gonna run out of time. Wouldn't have counted had it gone in. Beckett and Jesse Gorelli's having a few words. Much different than you would see on the men's side. Somebody on the men's side did that. I think they'd be put on their rear end. Nevertheless, the Saints have scored a second goal. Beckett on the power play. That gives her 2 power play goals on the season. We'll see whether or not this scoreline holds up or if the Bulldogs can get on the board. Keep it right here on the Maryville Saints Hockey Network. We'll have the third period coming up.
There comes a time where it's going to get harder and more difficult, but to never lose that focus of enjoying the game is so important. Leon Draisaitl from Cologne, Germany, Edmonton Oilers. For me, it started early. My dad played, so it ran in the family a little bit, and always wanted to play in the NHL. I'm an offensive guy that likes to generate and create chances and take big pride in the defensive side of things as well. I've got nothing but great things to say about Warrior, and a huge fan of the consistency. Year after year, for me personally, bring out the best product, and it's so simple and easy to work with Warrior. And on top of that, the service is incredible. Always things to learn, always things to grow, always the parts of the game to get better at, but all in all, you have to be a Warrior.
College hockey. It's more than just what school you play for. More than just another sweater you pull on. It's about focus, determination, strategy, and poise. It's more than just packed rinks and screaming fans. It's about heart, skill, and passion. In nearly 30 years of the ACHA, we don't just play the game of hockey. We are the game of hockey. Hundreds of elite players and coaches from some of the United States and Canada's most prestigious programs. The American Collegiate Hockey Association. More than just a game.
Hello everyone, I hope you've had a great summer. As the school year gets started across the country, we're excited to also welcome you back to another great season of hockey. Thanks for being a part of the USA Hockey family. I want you to know that our volunteers and our staff work every single day as hard as they can to make sure hockey is the best sports experience in every community in our country. Within USA Hockey, you're part of an organization that's a world leader in development, safety, fun, and success, and one that is committed to fostering a welcoming environment for all by building a diverse, equitable, and inclusive game. Hockey is played in thousands of communities across our entire country. Please join me in keeping the momentum going by inviting at least one new person to get involved with hockey this year. It doesn't matter if it's someone who wants to play, coach, officiate, volunteer, or just be a fan. We're excited about sharing the joy our sport brings with as many people as possible. I would also like to offer a friendly reminder to make sure that respect is top of mind every time you enter the rink or take to the ice for a game or practice this season. That includes making sure that we never use hateful or discriminatory language, as it has absolutely no place in our game or in our society. It's on all of us to make sure that we respect the game, including playing within the rules, treating officials with respect, giving our best, and being a good teammate. In the end, hockey is about fun, so let's make sure we never lose sight of that. Here's to a great season ahead, one filled with friendship, respect, success, and most of all, plenty of smiles.
Welcome to Maryville University,
Welcome to Saints Nation.
home of the Big Red M.
So what does it mean to be a Maryville Saint?
It's more than just going to classes.
As Saints, we are passionate about what we believe in.
We are open-minded and curious about other points of view.
And we know this about life at Maryville.
Your best experiences will happen when you get involved.
Make sure to get involved on campus.
We work hard.
But we have a lot of fun too.
We have a passion to see each other succeed.
You might have a few hiccups along the way.
Or maybe something more serious. When we run into adversity,
We have faculty and staff here to provide support.
We stand with our fellow Saints through the good times.
And the difficult times.
So be sure to seek out help when you need it.
we know that here at Maryville,
We are never alone.
The spirit of Maryville flows through each person that steps foot on our campus.
Being a Saint is that feeling that Maryville University is your community.
That even when you're far away from home,
You are home.
We're on this journey together.
We are Maryville University.
One team, one family.
It's time for the Maryville Saints Intermission Report. Let's get ready for the third period.
There comes a time where it's going to get harder and more difficult, but to never lose that focus of enjoying the game is so important. Leon Draisaitl from Cologne, Germany, Edmonton Oilers. For me, it started early. My dad played, so it ran in the family a little bit, and always wanted to play in the NHL. I'm an offensive guy that likes to generate and create chances and take big pride in the defensive side of things as well. I've got nothing but great things to say about Warrior, and a huge fan of the consistency year after year. For me personally, bring out the best product, and it's so simple and easy to work with Warrior. And on top of that, the service is incredible. Always things to learn, always things to grow, always the parts of the game to get better at, but all in all, you have to be a Warrior.
College hockey. It's more than just what school you play for. More than just another sweater you pull on. It's about focus, determination, strategy, and poise. It's more than just packed rinks and screaming fans. It's about heart, skill, and passion. In nearly 30 years of the ACHA, we don't just play the game of hockey. We are the game of hockey. Hundreds of elite players and coaches from some of the United States and Canada's most prestigious programs. The American Collegiate Hockey Association. More than just a game.
Welcome back to the Maryville University Hockey Center as we just are about to get underway here in the third period with the Saints up 2-0. Villard back into first, Beckett in the second. Those are the goals that have placed Maryville in the lead. Jillings was tripped up, looking around. Saints have already had 4 power plays, not going to get another one there. Hannah Tresick has only faced 9 shots here today after making 30 saves yesterday. So far less in terms of the workload, but she has still managed to make some big saves, including one on what was essentially a 3-on-0. It was at least a 3-on-1. And then one move around the back-checking defender made it a 3-on-0, but the cross-ice pass was turned aside on the shot, just like Jessie Gorelli made a save there. So Tresick has done her part thus far in this game. Bulldogs trying to get on the board for the first time this weekend. Cross-ice pass. Sutton is denied. Jessie Gorelli made a glove save. The puck was loose along the near post with a mostly empty net, but the Saints couldn't capitalize. Rebound shot just couldn't be put right where it needed to be. 90 seconds gone here in the third period. Beckett blocks the chance to get it down low. A high shot knocked down this time by Sutton. She's looking forward. plays it off the wall. O'Leary was up the ice as the Saints are trying to change their lines. Villard gets it down low. Back out towards center ice. Smolinski comes in, try to cut it back towards goal. Smolinski gets up after being knocked down, tried to go down to one knee and get the shot off. Deflected up and over the net. Toole slides past Young, looking for O'Leary. That hit the partition in the glass, came back out in front, and ultimately it'll be covered up. Saints have 27 shots on goal here today, one shy of their total for yesterday. So they've managed to get just about the same amount of offense, obviously an extra goal, still with the majority of this third period to be played. Collision over there by the Adrian bench. Referee has his arm up in the air, and I believe we're going to get a body contact penalty. This time it should be going against the Saints. Emily Toole will spend the next 2 minutes in the penalty box, perhaps less, if Adrian can get on the board. Bulldogs 0 for 1 today, 0 for 3 yesterday on the power play. Robinson overskated the puck momentarily, finds Reyes on the far circle, pops it out in front. Wiltshire tried to knock it out of midair, but swiped it wide. Robinson looking for Reyes in the middle, goes into the corner instead. Bulldogs drag it back towards the half wall, just north of the hash marks. They carry on behind the net. Reyes looking for space. Jillings has the stick well positioned. Nickel takes the shot. Deflected on the way through. Tresick makes the save, and there's the whistle. $16:50 to go here in the third period. 1:28 left in the penalty. Tresick takes the mask off, trying to shake off the cobwebs after there was a small collision there, lunging out. Anytime you put your head out there into the maze of bodies, there's always that potential because everybody's trying to skate around and there's sticks in the vicinity as well. Robinson couldn't handle the hot pass back towards the blue line, so the Bulldogs will retreat to their own zone. Adrian comes up through the middle. Skate to stick for Wiltshire, chasing it down on the far end. Putnam was able to seal her off for the most part. And then it slides past Robinson on the near point. Saints have cleared it out. 60 seconds left in the power play. Adrian couldn't quite get it into the attacking zone. And then a miscue on the pass through the middle. Karunakar flings it in. 40 seconds now remaining on the power play. Bulldogs come around the pressure. Villard coming in is the late pressure. Villard looking for Sutton. Bulldogs thwart that with the back check. Gregory taps it into the offensive zone, but Gerwitz is there for the Saints. 20 seconds left in the penalty kill. Falardeau taps it up to Villard. She's hauled down, and that's going to be a penalty. Kuzminski saying she's the one that lost her stick. But that will even things up for 9 seconds, and then the Saints will have their 5th power play of the game after that. So the Bulldogs go 0 for 2 now at the power play. Off the draw, handled by Gerwitz, but then right into the skates. Here comes Wiltshire on her off wing, trying to cut it back to the forehand. She scores! Now, the referee has not signaled anything, but it went in. And now he has signaled it for a goal, so a shorthanded goal officially for the Adrian Bulldogs. Wiltshire just drove her way in towards the goal, cut it back across, and then slid it underneath Tressick. So Wiltshire at 4:42 has made this one a contest. It was already close, but 2-1 feels a lot different than 2-0. 1:31 left in the Saints power play. All of a sudden, the pressure being put on Maryville to try to restore this 2-goal lead with a potential power play goal. Villard looking back to the point. Sweep pass finds Villard up the wall. A blind knock over here towards the near wing. Sachel trying to get it around Beckett. Beckett gets it from the captain. Beckett pirouettes around. Far side it goes. Sutton knocks it down, and then a save made by Jesse Gorelli. A hard wrister, but right into the glove. 63 seconds left in the power play. Bulldogs can't clear it out. Beckett put it through the wickets of the defender, and the save was made. Beckett over to Sutton on the left. Down low for Villard. She's bothered by Nickel. Villard goes down to her knees. Saints hold it in. Gerwitz walks the line. Near side for Beckett. She lines it up. The shot was blocked, though. Gregory tried to slam it up the board. Second opportunity. She just gets it off the body of Gerwitz and out. 6 minutes gone here in the third period. 25 seconds left in the Saints power play. Beckett to Sutton. Sutton gets it back to her forehand. Drops it off to Beckett. And the shot was blocked. Villard back to Karunakar. 12 seconds left on the power play. Karunakar floats one towards goal, and it went off a stick but wide. Bulldogs get it out. Scoville took the hit to get it down deep. Penalty is over. We're at 5-on-5. Karunakar pushed it way out in front, gets away with it. Takes a shoulder from Reyes. Ross gets it into the attacking zone. Gillings left it. O'Leary had her stick lifted. Bulldogs take control. Dangerously handled, now turned over. Here's Gillings. She shoots, and it's over the net. Tried to cut it back across the green and got just a little too far underneath. Brennan sweeps it down low, looking for Ross. Cut out by Sachel. Centering for Ross. Couldn't connect. Wiltshire, the goal scorer, ices it. Oh, they're going to say it took a deflection, so no icing. Slapped over here towards the near side. Brennan comes in. Ross and Gillings in support. Gillings had the puck, but took it right back into traffic. Puck goes off the far wall right in front of the Maryville bench. Saints trying to change things up. That one hit nobody on the way through, but O'Leary's going to get there first, so no icing. O'Leary trying to slow it up, allowing her teammates to get into the offensive zone. Bulldogs strip it away. Robinson shuffles it over. Turnbull got it ahead. Scoville just plays it off the near side wall. Under 12 to go here in the third period in what's now a one-goal game. Out of the reach of Kuzminski. Gerwitz's shot was stopped with the stick. Toole on the counterattack. Takes a shot to the stick side. That's stopped. In towards goal. Jesse Gorelli made the save. 11:16 left to go here in the third period. Shots are 31-11 in favor of the Saints. But despite the fact that Adrian only has 2 shots on goal here in the third period, they have put one in the back of the net. And the difference is just 1. Struther trying to dig it off the corner boards. The Bulldogs do it instead. Smolitsky couldn't keep it in at the blue line and then played it in offside. 10:58 to go here in the period. Bjornsson couldn't get it down low, and then she's tripped up. No penalty coming. Saints are offside, so Smolinski has to come back. Couldn't get in on the forecheck. Bulldogs slap it into the offensive zone. 10:35 to go in the period. Hansen hits the brakes and tries to go north. Braun comes around with speed, flings it in behind the goal, and then heads off on a change. Beckett picks up the loose change off the end wall. Took a little bit of a slash. Lost it out to center ice. Nickel pushes it back towards the near wing. Stitt trying to keep it away from Beckett. Cross ice it goes. Deflected by Turnbull, no icing. Halfway through the third period. Beckett accidentally kicked it down low, and then it's flung back out in front. Nobody there. Gregory was the closest player for the Bulldogs. Over on the right wing. Oh, a big shot there by Turnbull, and Tresick makes it save. Several arms went up in the air. They thought they had a goal. Scoreline remains 2-1. Karunakar plays it off the half wall. Robinson is down low. Karunakar trying to give her the business. Off a skate on the centering feed. Karunakar just flops it out towards center. Ward made an attempt to play the puck, so there is no icing. 9:15 to go. Outlet feed from the goaltender. Finds Gregory. She got it on to center, but Brennan was there. Brennan taps it off the wall and chases it down. Off the skates of the defender. Gillings carries in behind the goal. Tries a short side shot. Gregory comes out the other way, 1-on-3, and just dumps it in, heading off on a change. Tresick leaves it. Gerwitz has it. Ross was tripped up. Incidental, says the official. Ward is back at her own line. Haggart taps it up towards the attack. Ross coming back the other way for the Saints. Feathers it on around as she'll head off on a change. 8:30 to go here in the third period. Not a lot of stoppages here in the third frame. Kuzminski off the near side wall. Nice backhand pass to Haggard. She comes up to center ice. Falardeau steps over. Toole lost it at the blue line. Now it's bandied back and forth as they try to dig it away from the Adrian bench. Falardeau to the skates of Gerwitz. Up towards Windross. Gerwitz seals it off along the wall. Windross is in with Sachel. Bulldogs win that duel. Smolinski almost gave it away as Wiltshire was coming in. Stick down by the goaltender. Ward comes back. Sachel with the puck. Slides it up the far wall. Dangerous as the Saints were coming in hot. Hansen will go back in her own end to pick up the puck. Bjornsson collided with Wiltshire. Puck comes out into the neutral zone. Wiltshire kind of roughing up Hansen. And now here's Harris. Saw the pressure coming, so flings it to the far corner. Line change coming for the Saints, at least one player at a time. Smolinski's back. Reverses up the wall. Hansen hits the brakes. Picks it up at center ice. Almost overskated. Crossed the red line and fires it in, so she'll get a change. A backhander in front. Jesse Gorelli was able to stop it with the paddle. Here comes Robinson. Trying to get around Karunakar. Lost in the corner. 4-player scrum. Karunakar comes over to help. But that is tied up deep inside the skates. And now Karunakar gets it. Karunakar heads north with Harris, who heads off to the bench. Now it's Karunakar and Bjornsson. Karunakar all the way to the near side. Headed right along the backhand. Couldn't do too much with it. Nicely defended. Bulldogs reset in behind their own net. Trying an escape route up through the middle. The back-checking Beckett was able to fling it back into the attacking zone. Villard lifted the stick, but Sachel was strong on the puck. Falardeau finds Gerwitz. She'll take a shot, and that's up high into the glove. Attacking zone face-off coming up for the Saints. Putnam heads off. Falardeau comes on. Gerwitz to Beckett. Puts one towards goal. It's padded around, and then Villard had her skates go out from underneath her as she tried to get the shot. Here's Beckett. Oh, she's denied on the doorstep. Falardeau walks the line, tosses it up to the half wall. Villard avoids the stick check. Gerwitz takes it off the near side wall, takes a wild shot, and that goes over into the far glass. Falardeau tried to put it back towards the point. Now the Bulldogs on the counterattack. Gerwitz swipes at it, knocks it up into midair. Beckett has it along the near side wall, puts it up the boards for Sutton. Villard couldn't get it in on the attack, and now we have a whistle. 4:59 left to go here in the third period. Saints holding on to a 1-goal lead. Falardeau sends it up the wall, too strong for Gillings. Saints trying to catch up to it. Ward trying to seal off Gillings. Ross with the puck, carries over to the backhand, tried to switch back to the forehand. That one came out towards the post, and I believe it hit the toe of Jessie Gorelli because she didn't really know it was there. Finally looked down, saw the puck, and covered it up. And those are always awkward movements to make for the goaltenders because you don't necessarily want to take your skate off the post, but it's difficult to get your glove down to the side where you have to keep your leg up in the air. Bulldogs take the puck off the face-off, unable to clear it yet. Hansen stepped up, and now the Bulldogs get around her. Stick comes in. She got Wiltshire cutting through the middle, tried to shuffleboard it through the goal, but it ended up just wide. Tresick denies the pass in front. The puck is popping around a couple times. Smolinski has it now. Smolinski with speed and the length. She'll just flop one into the attacking zone. Gillings will try to chase it down. Gets to it in behind the net. Brennan was set up front. O'Leary with a shot. She scores! It snuck past the glove of Jessie Gorelli. It was kind of a knuckleball puck that fooled the goaltender, but the Saints are back up by 2. I don't know if that one hit the stick of Gregory on the way through or not. But even if it was clean off the stick of O'Leary, it was fluttering and really fooled the goaltender. She put out the glove thinking it would be somewhat of an easy catch, but it just kept kind of dipping on her. And O'Leary restores the 2-goal lead. O'Leary at 16:03. Bulldogs get it out towards center ice. Scoville will chase it down in behind the attacking net. Time definitely the enemy of the Bulldogs now. We'll see whether or not they pull the goaltender for a second night in a row. Down by 2, it might be a slightly different story. As of right now, Jesse Gorelli is still in the net. 3:03 left to go in the third period. Perhaps the game. Bulldogs come in, and they are offside. Young was trying to shuffle her way back onside, but unable to do so. Beckett drops it back, and Gerwitz goes far side. Falardeau gains the red line and throws it around. Beckett will chase it down along the near side. From the corner, gets it over and reversing it back to the far wing. Ward hits the brakes a couple times, but then Sutton makes the steal. Ward will get it back after it was knocked loose by Sachel. Up towards center ice. Kuzminski comes around Beckett. She'll take the shot. Nibbles off the bottom of the blocker. Sachel from the point, trying to get it down low to Young, and that was cut out by Gerwitz. Beckett cannot clear. Everybody trying to scrape it off the wall. Just out of the reach of Villard. Scoville will get it down low. Bulldogs going to change their lines. Goaltender is still in. 2:02 left to go here. Saints just throw it out. Sachel. Stitt was up there. Stitt gets it at center. Reyes couldn't hold it. Stitt comes across the blue line on the attack. Nice stick handling. Wiltshire has the lone goal for Adrian, and now the Bulldogs have 6 attackers. 1:35 to go. Bulldogs need 2. Scoville walks the line. Didn't have a shooting lane. Reyes just blindly tosses it towards the net. And now Gillings pops it over here towards the near side. Brennan puts it towards goal. She will score, and it is 4-1. So we've seen a little bit of everything here this afternoon. A power play goal for the Saints, a shorthanded goal against, but now an empty netter. And Maryville is up 4-1. Ross backhands it on around. 1:12 left to go in the game. Long shot from Putnam. Ended up getting all the way through. Whistle against. It's going to go against the Bulldogs for offside. Karunakar back in her own zone. Last minute of play here in the period. Saints flip one towards goal. Jesse Gorelli makes the save. Clock stops with 41.8 left in the game. Bulldogs flop it off the far wall. Deflected shot on the way through. Harris was trying to get a goal. Putnam will skate over. Harris in behind the net. Struther in the corner. Pad save made. Bulldogs have it at their own goal line, just trying to get it out, see this one out. Into the Maryville zone, Karunakar is back. Bulldogs come in on the forecheck. Harris swats it up, carries out. Young trying to bring it back in, runs out of time. So the Saints will improve to 2-0 on the season with an impressive 4-1 win. It was a little bit more of a nail-biter yesterday. This final ends up slightly more comfortable, and the Saints are off to the races in this 2025-26 campaign. Villard, Beckett, O'Leary, and Brennan are your goal scorers. So as the teams shake hands, we'll step aside for a brief moment. We'll have a quick post-game show. Keep it right here on the Maryville Saints Hockey Network.
Learning experience should belong to you. At Maryville University, you choose your own path and forge your own future. Whether you're on the ground, online, or a combination of both, the Maryville experience is centered on you, the learner. As a leader in innovation and technology, we are prepared to take you from learner to earner and back again. Join us as we look to your future together. Learning experience should belong to you. At Maryville University.
And welcome back to the Maryville University Hockey Center. Todd Panula along with you one final time as we wrap things up after the Saints win by a final of 4-1. It was an impressive victory from start to finish for your Maryville Saints as they got things going way back in the first period as Villard scored on a nice deflection goal that would really kind of set the tone for the Saints, similar to how they would get the lead in the first game. As we're going to see it here, it comes off of the face-off, and it would go back to Grace Karunakar. She walks back towards the line, fires one towards goal, and a great deflection there. Great hand-eye coordination by Villard to just get a piece of that one, and that was enough to knock it past the goaltender. The Saints would double up their lead with a power play goal. Haley Beckett proving once again that she is going to be a force to be reckoned with here during this season after such a great season last year. The Saints were on the power play. They work it around the perimeter. Beckett with a lane over along the far circle, and that got all the way through. That would make it 2-0, which would stand up into the second intermission. The Bulldogs would definitely make a game of it as they got a shorthanded goal at 4:42 of the third period. It would be 2-1. Bulldogs trying to keep it close, but the Saints would see this one out. O'Leary would score at 16:03 as the Saints come in with speed, tossed in there by Smolinski. A bit of a giveaway in behind the net. It would pop back out in front. O'Leary with the one-timer from the right hash mark, beating the goaltender. Again, that may have deflected off a defender's stick, but one way or the other, it kind of fluttered past the goaltender, made it 3-1 at that point, and then Brennan would score with the empty net late in the contest to make it 4-1. Great effort play here by Brennan. She saw the lane, decided to just take it there from the neutral zone, as it was just slightly off camera there, so those things happen, but ultimately, as long as it went in the net, and I promise you it did, it was 4-1 for the final. So the Saints, as I mentioned there at the end of the official broadcast, off and running here as they played a difficult opponent. I understand the coaches weren't necessarily 100% satisfied with the win yesterday. Even though it was a win, it was still close, 1-0. There was some stuff that they could have cleaned up, but I think they'll be a little more happy with the effort that we saw here today because there really wasn't a whole lot to complain about. The Saints end up with 38 shots, only allowing 13 for the game. They allowed 4 in the first period, 5 in the second period, and another 5 in the third period. So when you're only allowing single-digit shots against, you're not giving your goaltender a whole lot to do. You're keeping things calm. Hannah Tresick made the saves that she needed to make. She had some opportunities to make some good saves as well, similar to what she had to do yesterday, just in far fewer numbers, because she had to make 30 saves yesterday. But ultimately, even though she doesn't get the shutout in the second game, she still manages to be an impact player in this contest as well. So Tresick, one of the stars of the game. You have to talk about Haley Beckett, another power play goal, 2 for her this season thus far. And the Saints overall knocking off another high-quality opponent. It's going to be a really difficult schedule. I was looking at the schedule. There's a lot of high-ranked teams. There's 4 games on the docket, 2 on home, 2 away to Liberty. They're going up against Minot State. They'll have a week off. They'll play the Beavers on the road after that. And then they will be home against McKendree, who is a top 5 team as well. That one will be in the middle of October. That one will be our next broadcast right here on the Maryville Saints Hockey Network. So we hope that you will join us back in mid-October. But until then, for everybody here at the Maryville Saints Hockey Network, I've been Todd Panula. The Saints win 4-1. They're 2-0 on this season. It's a good start. We'll see how it shakes out the rest of the year. Thanks for watching, everybody, and have a great day.